Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title of this video, it's going to be some tips on how to choose the right college for you. I know this video is kind of late since the SAR window is in a couple of days. I think it's May 1st or May 2nd, so it's like less than a week. But I just wanted to make this video because I know it is kind of hard to pick a school that you're going to commit to for 4 years. And it's even harder for this year's incoming freshmen and transfer students because you can't visit campuses in person, and that really helps a lot when you're deciding which school you want to go to. So I hope my tips could really help you guys, and if you're still waiting last minute to decide which school to SAR, I hope this video could help you. Or if you're gonna watch this like next year or 2 years from now, I hope it helps you. So I'm gonna be looking on my lap because I have some notes written down here. So I have 4 tips that I think are really useful to help you pick like your dream school or which school you want to attend if you don't have a dream school. So the first one is obviously the price. You don't want to go somewhere where you're going to be in so much debt once you graduate, or that you have to drop out because you don't have enough money to pay for it. So this really goes into whether or not you want to go to like a public university, a community college, a private, or out of state. For me personally, I knew I could never afford out of state and I cannot afford private colleges. Maybe I could have gone into a private one with financial aid, but I just limit those choices for myself, and I just decided to do a public university, whether that be a CSU or a UC. And I really decided on the price because if I had gone to a community college instead of a UC right out of high school, I would have probably not have any loans, or I would have had less than half of what I have right now, which I don't have too many loans, and I know I could pay it back within 2 years, but it would have been great to graduate without any. So yeah, the prices, make sure you could afford it. Although the price should be your main focus, it shouldn't be your all focus. I think when you're thinking of the price of going to school, you really have to think of 2 questions. Can you afford the tuition and fees? And can you afford the housing and living costs? A lot of people don't really take in the housing prices and the living prices until they already go to that school, but that's super important, because some places, or most places that are around a college town, it's so expensive to live there, and honestly a lot of people don't end up commuting, especially if you go to school far away. So just make sure you can afford living there when you're not living on campus, or if you do want to live on campus, just make sure that your school offers that you can live on campus regardless of which year you're in. And yeah, just make sure your financial aid packages cover all 4 years, because a lot of people end up like getting scholarships your first year, and then you think you're gonna get that money all 4 years, but you're not. It's only for your first year, and then you can't afford it, and unfortunately some people have to drop out. So just make sure you can afford everything. I really recommend, when you get your financial aid letter, going through your financial aid, looking on how much aid you're gonna get, and if you think that you could financially afford going to that school. My second tip is location. So this is super important because it's really gonna either limit your options or it's gonna give you more options. So for me, when I was deciding which school I wanted to go, I had to think, did I want to stay close to home, or was I okay with going far away? Because if you're really family oriented, or you love being able to come home and be with your families, then you would want to stay closer to home, especially if you don't have a car, or especially if your school doesn't let you bring a car. Because a lot of times when you're a first year, a lot of schools don't let you bring cars, so you need to know whether or not like you're close enough so that your parents or your siblings or like friends could come pick you up. In my case, I picked a school that was 6 hours away. I live in NorCal. I picked a school in SoCal, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to come home every single weekend, but I didn't realize how hard that was going to be, because especially during like big family events when I couldn't come home for those. And honestly, it did suck. I missed a lot of weddings, baby showers, birthdays that I couldn't come home every weekend for. But at the same time, not being able to come home every weekend really helped me. It helped me grow because it made me like not be so dependent on my parents. And I also couldn't go home whenever I was like hungry, or I needed toothpaste, or I needed some like small stuff. So it really helped me learn how to budget and save money. But also, like, if you know that you can't be far away from your family, don't go to a school that's super far. Also, you have to think, like, how often you want to visit home. That should be, like, a case, because, yeah, it does suck when you want to go visit home and you can't afford a plane ticket, or you don't want to take the train, or, like, you want to go home for holidays, but, like, plane tickets are, like, super expensive, so just keep that in mind. Also, a good question is, do you want to commute, or do you want to live on campus or near campus? Because a lot of times, a lot of people live on campus for their first year, and then they have to decide whether or not they want to commute or stay living near the campus. But I did touch upon this in pricing, but, like, is housing affordable around your campus? Because you don't want to go to a campus where you can't afford the rent. And unfortunately, a lot of schools, the rent are super expensive, because a lot of schools are in, like, cities that are higher income. So just look at the housing prices around the school you want to go to. And are you going to have a car, which I already talked about a little bit, because you want to make sure you're going to a school where, if you don't have a car, the grocery stores, any type of stores, are easily accessible to you. Like, for example, UC Irvine, I think it's a really good school because they has, like, it's not in a campus town, but it technically is. Like, the campus has a lot of grocery stores, it has a Target, it has a lot of food places around the campus that is easily walkable from any of, like, the on-campus housing. So I didn't have to worry about having a car, because I could just go walking for groceries. I could go walking if I needed, like, toiletries, stuff like that. But a lot of schools do not have a lot of stores near them, and if you're not going to have a car, this is going to be a really huge problem. So just make sure that you have all your resources easily available to you. And if you could afford a car, because it's really expensive, a lot of places don't let first years have a car. And if you know you need a car to go to internships or your job, this might be super hard for you. And most importantly, like, I think this is the most important thing, is, do you feel at home on your campus? So for me, I knew Berkeley and UCLA were two schools that I did not want to go to, no matter how prestigious they are, because when I went to go visit their campus, I never felt at home on their campus, especially Berkeley. I lived pretty close to UC Berkeley, and a lot of my middle school and high school, like, school trips were there, and I just never felt at home. I felt like it had this, like, very negative vibe, in my opinion. It might have to do with the weather, because also, like, it's very gloomy there, but I know those two schools I didn't want to go to, because it didn't feel at home to me. And UCI, I felt like I could, when I went to go visit that, I only visited it twice, but every time I went, I felt like I could see myself there. So stick to your instincts. If you feel like a school is not for you, it probably isn't for you. You want to feel at home. You're going to be there for 4 years, and you're going to spend the majority of your day there too, especially if you're living on campus or near campus. And then, so my number 3 tip is, how was your major treated and ranked at that school? Which, I guess rank wouldn't be the right word, but, like, how was your major at that school? Honestly, you don't want to go to a school where, one, like, your major isn't that good, or it doesn't even offer your major. Like, for example, I knew I wanted to be an education major. I knew I wanted to eventually go into teaching. If not, I wanted to do something with, like, at the end with children. And unfortunately, a lot of UCs do not offer education as a major as an undergrad. They only offer it for grad school, but UCI did. So I knew right away that if I wanted to do anything with education, all of the other UCs shouldn't even be in my window. I kept them in the back burner just because I knew I either wanted to do sociology or education. But thankfully, UCI did have education as a major for undergrad, so that was one of the main reasons I also picked that school. I also got a really good amount of financial aid, so it was, like, kind of like a no-brainer. So thankfully, I was able to double major with education and sociology. And for CSU, if you don't know what you want to do, then just look at how well your major is treated at that time. And then my fourth tip is looking at the social life. This shouldn't be the most important part, but I do think you should take into account the social life, because once again, you're going to that school for 4 years. You're going to spend the majority of your time at that school, so you want to make sure you're going to have a little bit of fun. So if you know you want to go to a school where they have a great sport team, or maybe they're seen more as a party school, which I don't really recommend picking a school just because they're a party school, but, like, yeah, I'll get into that in a whole other video. But yeah, you should take into account sports life, if you want to join Greek, the Greek system, stuff like that, because you do want to have fun. It is college years. I know that for some people it's going to be the wildest years of their lives. So if you're not going to have fun at a school, you're probably going to be kind of depressed. You also want to make sure you're making really good memories, because this is the time to make memories. And for me, the most important thing is, like, did you feel safe at that school? Because you don't want to go to a school where you're not going to feel safe. Thankfully at Irvine, I feel super safe. Even when I'm walking back home from like a friend's house at like 1 or 2 in the morning, River, I feel safe. Like, I don't feel like anything's gonna happen to me. So yeah, just keep that into account. If you're not a big party animal, like, you might not want to go to a school that's mostly known for partying, because the social life will revolve around that. So just once again, like, I guess this will go with my other point, just pick a school where you feel safe and comfortable out, and you feel like you can see yourself grow and prosper. So I hope these tips were, I know I went through everything pretty quickly, but I didn't want to make this video too long, and I just wanted you guys to get like basic tips on how to pick your school, if you're still having trouble. And I hope you guys, I'm sorry I touch my face a lot, it's like a habit I'm trying to break, but like, I hope you guys make the most informed decision, because college is the place you're hopefully gonna spend either 4 years or 2 years at. And honestly, it's a little bit hard to transfer once you are in a school. It's not impossible, but it is a little bit harder. So just keep that in mind. I am gonna try to put out a video on why, on a community college versus like 4-year video. I did talk to a lot of my friends who were in community colleges, so they were giving me tips for the video, so for the SAR dates. And I hope this video is helpful. And yeah, it's a little all over the place, so excuse me, but yeah, stick tuned. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these college related videos.